a cookie. Awesome. So right now you're not really doing any local, right? Are you planning to ever do it again?
If I did, it would be something that I would do for like a business that I own or that if I was a partner in. I don't plan on ever doing it for lead generation anymore. Not for clients. My brother's actually wanting to start a window blinds and shutters company in Utah. So that could be a possibility of, getting some ownership in that and kind of using local to build that out and build
Yeah.
that brand out. But nothing that I would want to do for, somebody else. So I would do local if I had, some rev share ownership in it.
Yeah, if I recall well, you actually did this before, right? With a locksmith.
Yeah, I did. I owned a locksmith company on and off since like 2009. I had one in California, had it there for 3 years, moved it to Kansas City, had it there for 5 years, sold that. And then I had done, I had some ownership in another company for a little while. I had some ownership in a garage door company and an auto glass company. Those both sold for like 1.8 million. And I got like 5% ownership in those during the sale.
Nice.
So yeah, just more for me. It's something I actually wish I would have done when I first got in the local, is to find like some good partners where I can just take my skills and have some ownership. Um, Obviously, I mean, probably someone who's brand new isn't going to really be able to do that, but I would try to get into that type of models as fast as you can if you're starting out, especially if you don't want to work with clients and you still want to kind of do some, GMB shit here and there. I think that's the best way to go.
And it's so hard, right? It's so hard to do that because people, how do they trust you so
Well,
soon and early in that relationship without
the best way to do it, yeah,
performance, right?
the best way to do it is to own as much as you can. So like the garage door company, I mean, I owned probably 60% of the properties that were online. I mean, that consisted of several GMBs, several sites. I took the 5% deal. It was worth it at the time because I was getting probably like 10% off of every job that came in. So for me, it was worthwhile. And all I had to do was just do the SEO, just bring in the leads. I didn't have to answer calls. I didn't have to do any dispatch. Where like when I had the locksmith company, like I had to do everything. So
Yeah.
that's the key, is to kind of come in as like almost like you're not really this outsourced agency or outsourced guy anymore. You're kind of an in-source. You're part of their marketing department.
Yeah.
If they have someone who's an in-house SEO, inside, web developer, design or whatever, to fit your way in there. So you kind of come in being kind of a hybrid, like lead gen / like retainer
Yeah.
client,
Right.
and then you just eventually you work your way into it. You'd be surprised how often the business owner is like, hey, like how would you feel if like, you just do it for us and I'll pay you, as leads come in. They actually most of the time will offer that to you.
Yeah, let's see, ROI wise,
You
that's
and
actually
that
more profitable.
and it, like what Jordan's talking about is you lower the risk, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What is the risk of that owner, which is, oh, if you perform, I'll make more money and I pay you that percentage or that profit.
And they need you,
Do
because
it.
if you're performing really well and you just say, well, I own these sites, like, fuck off, like you can walk away, and they'd be like, no, like once, like I'll pay you. So like you have a lot more control when you do it that way.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I can see how it's actually quite a interesting way of doing it because it's less risk, but also I believe it's better for the communication wise, right? Like you don't have as much responsibility in like
No.
if I deal with clients, they eventually they become a pain in the ass, because you have a lot of responsibilities towards them in the sense of make sure that they understand everything and all. But if you're actually a part of it, then a big part of that responsibility, yeah, it fades, right?
Yeah, and you're not messing with their brand. You don't have to worry about ruining their reputation. It's just like you're kind of providing leads for your own company. So you'll actually work a lot harder too, because the fact that you do have skin in the game and that you're putting in a lot more effort to get more output. So in the end, it's kind of a win-win. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
people that do client work, they probably don't work as much on client sites as they probably should.
yeah,
Or most of them don't, I should say. A lot don't.
no, a lot really don't, which is often quite profitable, um, if they're your competitors, of course. But I think with local SEO in general, what makes client work so attractive to me is just because, you know, with SEO in general, they always rehash these techniques. You know, like Google stacking is very fucking famous right now. It's really popular. Um, so there's always the same thing going round and round and round, while the actual foundation is always lacking. So it's significantly easier if you know which niche to pick to rank your stuff. And I can see that if you can actually rank somebody consistently and you can get some skin in the game, that it's on the long term far more profitable for you. You know, like with a retailer, there's always a ceiling you will eventually hit. You know, so
Because I had a garage for a guy when I lived in Kansas City. We took him from he was just like a one man truck. He just had a small family, and we took him to like 10 service trucks in under a year. And that was a guy who I wish I would have gotten some rev share because he went from like literally making like maybe 80,000 100,000 a year if that to like 2.5 million a year. So if you look at the growth and kind of look at what the potential is, you'll get paid a lot higher than you would by just taking a low retainer fee. But
Jordan,
again,
what do you think? Do you think it's like how many months or how much? What's trying to think here is in my looking back to me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm not sure my dick would have been big enough or my balls strong enough to say, I want revenue share. Right. So what do you think that might have to happen to really have a young up and comer to say, no, I want skin in the game. I can do this.
so the best way to do it would be to, and this is for anyone that's new, like you're gonna have to rank your own site or listing anyways to get experience. That's the only way you're gonna learn how to do SEO, period. So if you're gonna do that, you might as well, start selling some leads rather than working on the client site. Now that opportunity of doing rev share is obviously not going to be immediate. You're going to have to prove yourself that you know what you're doing. And a lot of that's going to be involved, like, kind of showing the business owner that you know how to walk the walk and not just talk your shit. And that means, you're bringing in leads that, properties that you own. And the business owner is going to be like, holy cow, like you're bringing in a ton of leads for me. Again, usually they will give you that opportunity, like, hey, how about I pay you 10%, rather than paying you like per lead.
Right. So the other big thing too is focus on that niche, kill it in that niche where you clearly can say, no, I can get you leads, I can get you calls, I know how to do it. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, it's very sustainable depending on the niche. I mean, I got pretty lucky when I started because, locksmith, garage doors, some of these other niches they were pretty spammy back then when I started, but it wasn't, I got in at a good time in this industry, working with those niches. Someone coming in brand new, there's no way in hell you're going to survive, getting into some of these categories that are in like local service ads. It's just going to be really difficult.
Yeah,
So
I know it. Jordan's giving me shit. I'm telling him a couple of the things I'm in. He's like, man, you're like in this micro niche stuff, right? But
I mean, they're not washed. I mean,
right?
at the end of the day, they're not in like major, like the ones that you're in, like we talked about today, like it's not even in local service ads. Like it's kind of a great opportunity.
Right. Now go back, everyone. Rewind. If they're not in local service ads, that's an opportunity for you
Yes.
to exploit.
Yes. So I wouldn't touch any category that's in local service ads, any type of organic, even doing lead gen now, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
I mean, Google, there's reasons why they started launching local service ads and they're getting into lead gen. So, and they have Thumbtack, they have several other sites that they're selling leads as well. So there's so many other categories that you can get into, where you can still get some rev share opportunities without having to be in local service ads.
Awesome.
Nice.
Now, local SEO ads, right? Recently, I believe there was this search engine journal post about how location pages would be like doorway pages would be far more monitored right now, and duplicate content would be insufficient. To so many times they say this, but how would you say that, Matt? Like, would you say that that will actually be a significant thing in the SEO community, and how would they really monitor something like that? Because statistically, 60% of the internet is duplicate, apparently. Because you can't really trust any sources on the
Right
internet,
now,
but,
in that situation, Brent,
uh,
it's actually two different questions and concerns, which is how do SEOs look at duplicate content? The conventional wisdom is a true duplicate content is a problem for me when it's the same content on the same page, right? Same domain. Same domain. You can copy shit and multiply it across other websites and web pages anywhere, right? You own it, you make it. And if it's a problem, you DMCA that shit, and Google's not the police, right? Now, this is another thing, and I was just it's hot shit right now on the SEO Signals Lab, is because Skylar the liar was quoted in search engine land. All right. The guy is grasping for straws. He is trying to get attention. He's using a lot of bullshit, and a lot of people don't listen to anything he has to say because he's just trying to promote and make sales based on what he thinks, right? If you get enough links and you have enough trust, that relevance and that trust, right? I'm almost using those together, relevant, trust, relevance. You can do a lot of manipulation of having similar pages and doorway pages on a site, for sure.
So I think it varies on market. So most of the local service ad categories are having issues where, these doorway pages are having basically the same content and just swapping out the city names, which those will have issues because of those categories and what Google's trying to do. That's where, at least what I've seen. I don't think doorway pages are bad. I think they're still considered to be a page that's relevant. And I think that a lot of times where people are going to have maybe issues is just maybe the days of just using the same content and just swapping out the geo name is not going to be, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. So that's
because there are a lot of people who say,
but doorway pages are not going away.
Right. I used the geo 5 different times on the page. H1 title, H2 a couple times, bold, keep, and link. And then that's all they change from page A to page B. That second page, it's not enough of a change that's causing that's where people are having the issue. But Jordan and I know that what you really need is this little hub, a geographic hub that talks about the uniqueness to that city, that market, the neighborhoods, the suburbs, everything else that's going on in there. And that's where you get the strength to then interlink out to all the smaller service pages. Because if you really say, my website has this city and then a whole other section of a different city, Google's going to treat that with respect because, yeah, we understand that you do hot water tank and you do drain cleaning, but it's connected to a different GMB. It's a different service area, and you got to change the fucking images, and you have to change out some of the content so that it's not exact.
No, exactly. That's something I've been thinking. The other thing that actually got me conflicted with that is because there is this assumption that every page in itself stands on its own. Um, I think that's a bit accurate, but there are some thoughts on that. But duplicate content wise, I think it should matter way less than as every page should be treated on their own. I think, yeah, I don't really believe that duplicate content, especially in local SEO, is an actual problem or will cause for ranking drops because none of my clients really do. I do think the main problem is, like you say, they only change certain elements, um, like H1, H2, and I think that's the main issue is the page in itself might just not have the relevancy towards the city and in general be optimized properly. But I also think that it's being lazy. I think in the end that might account for something because I really don't think duplicate content is that big of a factor. In fact, for some clients, something I experimented with is generating AI content. This was merely an experiment with a Python script, and then I would spin it, but I would change the um, information. I would change all the internal linking by scraping Wikipedia, for the city names and city links. And in itself, the test in itself actually did pretty well, and it wasn't that long ago. I think it was a few weeks ago that I started, and it's still doing quite well. So I would say that in itself, yeah, I think that's a big well amount of
Because
fluff.
you're always going to have one page that's going to be more authoritative, relevant than the other. Because you can have, I don't know if you've seen it, SERPs, it'll show like you may have two pages that are ranking for the same term, but one has an indent in the SERP. So that usually means that the one that does not have the indent is the most relevant, and then there's a secondary. So that's like you can still create like a city geo hub. So if you're in Dallas or let's say Boise, for example, and then you have, your page is abcplumbing.com/Boise, Idaho. And on that page, you talk about plumbing as your main service, and then you maybe have like an H2 that's drain cleaning, and then you have one for faucet cleaning, you have one for, some other type of service within plumbing. And then let's say you have, a separate page that links out from that to like ABC plumbing / Boise faucet cleaning. You may find that if you're having a lot of authority, you're sending links to that main first hub for faucet draining in Boise, you may be showing up double for that search term. The first one more than likely will be the most relevant, which is probably going to be the faucet draining Boise, and then the secondary, which will show up as an indent in SERP, will be the Boise one. So just to say that just because you have duplicate content for the geo, it's like I said, it goes from market to market. So, I don't think it's necessarily I think what they are trying to do is trying to alleviate some of that things that where people are just usually just having the exact same content on the page and just swapping out that geo. But most of the markets, again, where I'm seeing that, and even the articles that were in Search Engine Journal, were using ones like air duct cleaning and plumbing, which are in LSAs. And that's the same thing that I'm seeing in markets.
It's a little bit of laziness, and guys are just not changing enough on the page, right? Remember, it's it's not a penalty, it's just being de-indexed. And that's where Google says it's not unique enough. It's not, I don't want to say it's helpful.
But think about how many local pages they have. Like for a local search, you're gonna have so many more local pages than you would if you just for a regular search. You can only fit so many queries on so many pages for that query.
And one of my strategies is to definitely optimize the homepage for a primary service. Even though I'll have an inner page about that service, and just as Jordan described, both those pages many times will show up on the SERP. and sometimes Google will then figure it out and say, well, we'll rank the home page, but then guess what? The home actually gets an extra bump up the SERP.
Makes a lot of sense. Another thing I've actually been playing with, or thought of yesterday, I started testing with it. I don't have any conclusive data on it, but I was working on my podcast, uploading it, and I thought, like, if you're familiar with PLIT, you can download courses, get the label rights, but if you would upload those to, let's say, Amazon, as your podcast, because all they really require is an audio file, but you can also get a video file. Then, well, you get some decent links in itself, which you are allowed to optimize. Would you say that would actually be a feasible thing, or would it be useless due to having literally no local relevancy, and they're actually ridiculously easy to create as well,
Yeah. Rich, turn off your microphone. Ask us a question. Come on, bitch. Let's go.
Come on,
Well,
Rich.
we can handle the screaming kids.
Exactly.
Let's go over to the chat function, shall we? Hello.
Jesus, Rich. Jesus, you put out less than my girlfriend. Holy Christ.
Hello, Jahir. It's Mr. Lambo here. And just for the record, too, so you guys know, Lambo is like teasing the industry, making fun of people who own Lambos, right? As Jordan and I know, if you're ever going to buy a fucking supercar, you buy a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously. All right.
Also,
seriously.
if I see one more fucking guy talk about Lamborghini, and you all know who I am talking about, the guy who buys a different Lamborghini every fucking day, shut the fuck up. That's not feasible, Like, holy
Which color
Christ.
is your Lambo?
Lamborghinis are not made for like just or city driving too. You need to. The only time you should ever buy a Lambo is if you like live in Germany or driving on the Autobahn.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So that actually Dan Christensen, he just lives half an hour away from me in the Boise, Idaho market. Nicknamed, he's like, I can't remember the exact details, but he's like, yeah, Lambo, or your nickname should be Lambo. And then it just stuck. And so I, of course, then my middle initial is an L. And so I my rock star presentation, I then I told everyone that my real middle name was Lambo, right? So it's just synonymous. Anyways.
And now it sticks. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's actually when I scroll Facebook, and there are a few SEO influencers out there. I all know who I'm talking about, but if I read one more fucking post about buying a Lamborghini, I'm going to lose my shit. Jesus fucking
Now,
God.
I don't have the full details. Matt Diggity announced that one of my original fanboys, I was a fanboy of him, the secret squirrel guy. Do you know who I'm talking about with the secret squirrel shit? He used to pound us with the YouTube ads 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Alex Becker sold his company for 6 figures. So high 6 figures.
No, wasn't it 9 figures?
Yeah.
9
Yeah.
figures.
100 million.
Oh,
First your 6 figures.
Wait. Maybe. Yeah, sorry. 9.
100 million.
Yeah. Whatever. So there's still hope for us out there. You speak well, you use a little bullshit. We will all pray. Everyone gather together. Let's pray for Skylar Mew, right? But I don't know. I just try to be more real with folks and to say, look, it's the older you get, it's not about the fancy car. I really do what I do because I want to genuinely help small businesses. And if I profit, great. Yeah, I'm fucking going to Aruba. I'm going on vacation, but I'm not boasting about my Lamborghini.
My problem is I hate fucking spending money. You know, I make enough to buy a decent car, but I still have this car with a fucking dent in it because I had a crash not
Yeah.
that long ago. And I bought this iPhone recently, and I actually go fucking dizzy buying it. Not that I can't afford it, it's just so fucking hard to buy it to me that, you know. So I live like a poor guy. I don't know why I'm still doing this. I like Jesus fucking Christ. I hate fucking spending money. It's not that I'm stingy, you know. Like I love spending money on food, which is very bad because you know obesity here I come. But yeah, holy fuck, those Lamborghini guys. They fucking trigger me.
It's the reality is this. I've talked about this before in some of my presentations, which is there will always be get rich quick schemes. Look at crypto, right? I made a video making fun of people saying, oh, SEO sucks. And then you go to crypto, right? And now they're getting fucked on crypto. There will always be weight loss products, right? Oh, we got the new gadget. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, I take a pill magically. People will naturally trust what they read and what they see. And then it's because they want to improve their life, right?
Yeah,
and they want it fast. They want it now. I want it easy. I don't want to work. If I just bought Bitcoin or if I just take this magic pill, it's going to be easy. So the gurus will use that against you to sell their course, right? To suck you into their bullshit, which is, oh, you're not, I smell your bullshit. You're not as smart as I thought you were. You're not telling us everything, and they just want your money, sadly.
It's
You'd already have a Facebook group with like almost 2,000 people for Chat GPT's SEO.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking
People
chat
on
started.
now, so that's another topic we could get into, the whole chat.
Oh,
People are losing their shit over
that's
this,
ridiculous.
right?
so dumb.
And this is the reality, kids. Okay, Uncle Keith's gonna tell you, look at me, look at my eye. Okay, look at, stop looking at my cleavage. Okay, up here, eyes up here. You need emotion. You need a sense of humor. You need fun in your writing. You gotta have feelings. Guess what? All the GPT shit. Oh, sure, it can rhyme funny fucking shit. Guess what? You need to take the human element in there, and that's what Google's going to reward you for that.
If you're gonna use a chatbot, you might as well use Mr. Google's, the Lambda, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I did a site with GPT-3, and it's getting like 1,000 stars every month. So yeah, we needed to like eat it. It's been like 3 months. We already did that. So nothing to be like super exciting about Chat GPT, but needed to be like do lots of edits. So yeah.
Yeah, use Google's. Google has a really good one. Just don't even worry about GPT 3, 4, 5, whatever the hell it is.
I think it's
Well,
also very fucking lazy. You know, like that's Jesus Christ.
And you need to embrace that technology. You need to be able to use it and get a foundation for your page. But a bunch of facts and information, that's not going to keep people on the page. It's not going to let them scroll. It's not going to encourage them for the deeper click. And that is how you're going to get rewarded.
Oh,
So
very true. But wouldn't you say that's an amazing research tool? Like if you use it well, because what it really does is probably scour the internet for information and base its stuff on that. So if you really would want, you could got your like you could automate some research, right? Like ask questions like what are the main struggles of people in my industry, or automate that to get a good FAQ basis, that you can use. I think that that would be relatively easy to do and quite useful in the end. Like you could base your content based on that. Now to generate an entire piece of content, that's ridiculous, but you could get nice guidelines and automate a piece of your research doing just that, I think.
But the way we used actually did work. All we did, we didn't use those content for, for some kind of selling point or something. We just use those content for generating FAQ pages. And all these FAQ pages are built to like power up our product pages. And they did a like good job, but yeah, obviously we always checked which content going in and out. It just, to speed up the process. But it was like a test, not like, real implementation.
Yeah, and that's that also makes the search engine industry interesting, is because we have a lot of theories, right? And we could all go out and do different things and rank something. And then we'll come back and be like, no, fuck you, no, fuck you, no, right? And it's like, oh, Google's looking at different factors. And sometimes you add up one and you get a few of the extra, and then that's the tipping point that bam shoots you up, right?
I think people get surprised how well you can do in SEO by just actually fucking doing SEO and not trying to do these like shortcuts.
Exactly. It's
Or
actually
lazy work.
something I talked about with Israel, right? Like Israel Godet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but probably.
Yeah.
But when I was doing I was doing 5K a month, I believe. So I was still in my newbie phase, and he offered actually to mentor me. In fact, the screen that I'm right on the monitor right now, he bought it for me as a gift. Um, but he doesn't do anything fancy, like except for and I wouldn't call entity stacking that fancy, because it's rather simplistic in my opinion. But he doesn't do anything fancy. Like he doesn't. All he really does is focus on the macros. He keeps it at the basics. He has a very fucking strong foundation. He works simplistic, which allows for easy scaling. Because the simpler your processes, the easier it's to train somebody. And all he really focuses on is quality content, quality links, nothing else. No this or that, no tricks, no easy ranking schemes, no, just that. I think, yeah, that proves the point.
And the other thing too, I was talking to Jordan or earlier. Obviously, Jordan and I have a nice, strong relationship, and
Cute.
it's a bit of a mystery at times why something will pop into the maps, right? And sometimes you just need a little bit of time.
Yeah, exactly.
There could be part of the algorithm that says, thank you, we saw your link, we saw your information, but fuck you, we're going to do nothing for 30 days. Oh, we're going to do nothing for a year, right?
Exactly.
So sometimes you just have to have patience.
Especially
Sometimes you just get lucky.
Yeah, and and sometimes it's a combination of things, and that is the true ranking factor, which is the mystery, right? I rebuilt the site and I'm like, oh, I don't know, it's not really doing much. Some movement, it almost to the date, 60 days later, it was hitting #1 in the maps, #1 on the organic. And I'm like, I am a god, right? And I'm like, what did you do? Yeah, nothing. I just made a website.
Yeah, I got a page that I indexed like probably a week and a half ago, and it was right after I had it crawled, and within 4 or 5 days it was ranking like towards the bottom of page 1, and it has like 4,000 searches a month. And I mean, I do like anything crazy special with the content, but I mean, sometimes like there's just weird shit that happens. There's no way of explaining it.
Oh, very true.
But we are gods at the end of the day, and you will buy a Lambo, motherfucker.
I'll buy a Ferrari.
It's actually something I was talking about with Terry. And he actually said the same thing. Like, especially now, like indexation isn't what it used to be, right? Like back in the day, you could actually run it through Omega, index it, and have the shittiest page indexed. But right now, I would say it's actually far slower. I might be wrong, but even with news websites, they say it's an instant indexing, but even that's not always true, even if you have quality content. So sometimes
My
it just doesn't index. You know?
my gut would tell me that news websites have been manipulated aggressively in the past.
Yeah, that's
18
going to
months.
go away pretty soon
And I
too.
think that Google's probably starting to figure stuff out and say, no.
Yeah, actually, that's a real thing. I own multiple news websites mainly because it helped me index, but they're also, well, they're built on PBN domains, because I want to test well, there was this big claim that you could like make $5 a week, I believe it was, with news websites. I didn't really believe that, so I dug into it. My news websites did really sick, like they go insane amount of traffic in no time, and now they literally all of them just shut it. Zero clicks, nothing, all shut. Not that I can, but like
Shut.
exactly. So they're pretty useless right now. It's still, yeah, I wouldn't say they're still as useful as some people claim. I think news websites, yeah, they are losing the purpose dramatically.
Yeah, thanks to SEOs. I mean, everything that happens in the industry is because of us. So that's why we can't have nice things.
Yes, we can, Jordan. Fuck
I mean,
you.
the only
It's a
reason why there's
secret.
the only reason why
Stop.
there's updates is because of us. So let's
Stop telling people. Stop telling people your secrets.
we are the problem and the solution. Like a horrible cycle.
Oh, I know. There's a toast. Homer Simpson gave it to alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Yeah, no, for me, alcohol definitely generates problems. Yeah, let's keep that away from me, huh? That's
Yeah, and for all of our new viewers today, this event was supposed to happen 2
Yeah.
hours ago, but someone was confused on the time zone.
all right. For everybody watching that is from America and that knows me, fuck you. Just go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. Why did nobody warn me? Why did nobody be like? I even posted it. It's at 2 a.m. Why is nobody like, hey, Brent? Doesn't add up. No. Let's make like just make a fool out of yourself. Go ahead, do it. I don't care. Die today, bitch.
However,
But you know what? We're here, so that's all that counts.
Yeah. Well,
you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 fans. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly.
You have enough people. We can play a basketball team right now. Let's go.
Literally the only sport I suck at. Let's play basketball. Jesus.
Any sports that require lots of running, that's all right. I mean,
Jahir, stop throwing a fuss. You're joining us. Jesus. No, really, thank you guys for making me like not even telling me. Literally nobody. And there's people that were going to come, and they didn't even be like, "Hey, Brent,
Going
Hey.
to come.
too late. Too late." Fuck you. Really, fuck you. Die today, now. So,
Rich said he wasn't going to make it.
yeah, exactly.
Rich wasn't going to make it.
Exactly.
I'm here. I'm just muting. I'm here though. How are you guys?
Rich, what would you like to talk about? I've opened up the vault, so I'm drinking a
What is
little.
that?
It's terrible. It's an IPA.
God, it looks cheap
Now
and
look
awful.
at this. Look at this, kids. 9%.
Black
Holy
IPA.
shit.
That is a fucking stout, nasty shit.
Now, Brent knows like 9% is like Duvel or the Tapists out of Belgium. Like that's the shit that will kill you.
Yeah, it's.
I'm telling you, the problem I have with this, I don't like too hoppy beer. I don't have,
if it's called black IPA, that's gotta be super hoppy.
yeah, it's actually not. It's smooth.
Yeah,
It's
Do you have
obviously
a glass?
strong.
I want to see how
Yeah.
dark it is. Is it dark?
I'll go grab some.
Yeah, grab a glass. I want to see how dark this nasty shit is.
Shit, you guys have like the best alcohol tolerance ever. Like, I can drink a beer and my world is upside down. No joke.
Yeah, I don't drink anymore. I mean, like very rarely. Every once in a while I might have a beer, but
Yeah, I can't handle booze.
Yeah, it's a root
pretty
beer.
dark. That's pretty
It's
dark.
root beer. It's a root beer color for sure.
Yeah, that's pretty dark.
Anyways, the vault is open, Rich, if you have any questions.
Many of you don't know this, but Rich is actually a partner of mine in certain agencies. We recently.
Is that sexual devices?
No, but we do use them. Our partnership is very inclusive.
Oh, we do use them? What?
It's very inclusive, but
It's
don't
very
sell 'em.
close. It's very close.
God, Brent's never allowed to come to Mastermind Mansion ever.
Jesus, I'm such fun. Well, seriously, Rich actually knows how bad I am with booze because I had an American visitor, and she was sleeping, so I went to the hotel bar. But like one glass of wine, and my world was literally upside down. And I found nothing better to do than sending Rich voice messages. And they went
Tell
from
me.
"Hey Rich" to "I love you."
Yeah, I
Rich."
think you had more than one glass. I think you had more than one glass there, buddy.
Yeah, in the end I did. I couldn't walk up. That was
Oh my gosh. It's
so for everybody in my friend list, if you ever get weird ass messages from me, it's either not me or I'm drunk. So really, I get pretty lovey-dovey when I drink.
no, we have a good time at Mastermind Mansion. We're gonna be down there scheduled in Austin the first couple days of April, so it should be a good time.
Again, like I think, and that's why I love masterminds in general. I think that they are so intimate in the sense of you don't have that much stress. I think that's the genius behind it. Yeah, I think that really, yeah, I think that's something for people. Again, like it's really amazing for introverts if you just get over that boundary, of talking to people. You know, I think alcohol helps with that, especially in my case.
I think one of the main things is that you're surrounded by like-minded people. They have similar challenges, similar goals, similar issues, right? And so when you can then chat with them.
Who says I have any issues? You
telling time. So when you can then just casually, not hundreds of people, but 40 or less, have that conversation where you can walk up to someone, whether it's with a drink, next to dinner, in the hallway. That's where we have that nice connection that really elevates that personal relationship. And that's really where people benefit, which is even if you're an introvert, you still want to connect with other humans. You might be listening, you don't have to participate, but you're still there and you still feel that bond.
I think, well, first of all, I think these masterminds, it's my biggest issue with conferences in general, because I still do think they have a certain purpose, right? But my main issue is like it puts more stress on the person asking the question, and often they are not really they're not really making sense. Like not everybody has the same budget as the guy on stage who is giving this big ass strategy speech that you can apply, but doesn't make sense for a small.
Links. You just need links. Links.
Exactly. So that I'm not a big fan of conferences. Last time I went was, again, it was a French conference, and for the people not knowing this, I don't speak French. So leaving, next time you invite me to a conference and you want me to join, I want to understand people. They were doing 4 hours. I've been there, didn't understand shit.
When we were in Nashville back in October, Ted Gabitis had a good point with his presentation, which was, if the number one website has 1,000 links and the number two website has 200 links, do you really want to invest that time and effort to try to defeat them, right? Like, at what cost?
I think if you do proper keyword research in general, if you do actual proper research in general, I'm not going to say that links don't matter, because I do think links are quite useful. But I think if you do proper keyword research and you make good pieces of content and not just some easily generated content that's, well, thrown together, then I think you're already going to come quite a far way. It just comes down to proper research, and I think that requires a data-driven mind, which is actually quite contradicting for people who are content writers, because not a lot of content writers are per se analytical. So I do see where that forms an issue, but I wouldn't say, like, if you do proper keyword research, the need for having thousands of links, like is ridiculous. I don't see the use of that.
You'd be surprised, like, because now I do a lot of national. You'd be surprised, like, the ones that are ranking on the first page have a pretty common page structure, as far as kind of like if they have a couple of like bullet points that they're doing like a list, like here's all of the recipes for apple pie. And if you look at most of them, it's kind of the same general like structure. Like they have the heading here, it's all kind of in around the same area. The bullet points with the list is kind of in the same area on the page. That's a lot of it's not even just like kind of out doing with links. Just kind of take a look at some of the other pages that are having that same page structure, and most of the time it's just a couple of minor tweaks on your page. You'll be fine.
Now, talking about page structure, I have Kyle Roof's tool, but would you say that tools like Surfer and Page Optimizer Pro are that useful, or would you say they're a bit, well, hyped up?
I think it's great for someone who's pretty new to get into it. I don't use any tools at all. The only two things I'll use something like Neurotext or Phrase just to kind of get a general idea of like what people are doing as far as their structure goes, but I don't use anything like Quora or Surf or anything like that, or Pop. Just because most of it is just I have a general overall page structure theme that I use pretty much with everything, and it works really, really well.
Yeah, Jordan's so good. He's so
no, it's not even just that, it's just experience. I mean, I have like,
and you know what though? I'm exactly the same way. And I was 100% in love with Page Optimizer Pro when it first came out. What was that? Late 2018 to 19. Yeah. And then you just start to see pages the same way the software does, the tool, and you're just not as dependent on it. I would recommend Pop for me. I think that Surfer can help as well, because this is the reality. Google is looking for certain entities and certain keywords in those sections. And really that's it. You make a great page, just wait, have patience, and then you'll be rewarded. But you have to have the patience.
Kind of
Exactly.
depends on the intent too, because like a lot of informational intent is really based. You have to have some really good information on the page, like really answer semantically like different queries. And you're just not going to do that with a lot of these tools. You really have to actually look at it as an AI itself, and these tools are just not going to do that for you.
Well, I would say though that Kyle Roof, when he first came out with Page Optimizer Pro, that was some badass shit. Like SEO Silence Lab was doing this tournament. This guy just ranked that page with lorem ipsum content, and you can say what you want, but that was fucking genius marketing, you know, like
Yeah.
that's just saying
and
it
that
works.
is clear evidence that says if the right keyword is placed in the right places, you're done. That's math. That's math right there.
Yeah, that was really fucking badass. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Unfortunately, it's not as much that way as it used to be though. A lot's changed. It's not really a math game now. It's a lot of semantics, especially when you get into like health and wellness stuff like that I'm in, your money, your life.
Yeah.
Local is local is a lot easier. You can use pop for local and you'll get it every single time. But when you start getting into more national stuff, like different types of intents and e-commerce, like those tools are not going to do anything.
I 100% use them because you've got to have the core foundation, because it makes everything easier after that. Maybe my page doesn't need as many links. It doesn't need as much to gain because it has all the other items checked off.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the market though. I mean, again, once you start getting into some of these difficult ones, like if you're doing any type of health, wellness, things that really require a lot of authorship and things like that, authority, a lot of things you see with, EAT, so to speak, and things that happen with Medic Update, those tools aren't going to help you, unfortunately. You're going to have to really get like analytical and see semantics of how the queries are being ran.
There's indeed a very big difference between industries. I have never tried Page Optimizer Pro though with local. You say it's still useful. Would you really?
Oh yeah. It's definitely, when it comes to local, it's definitely a lot of counting game. With pop, when it gives you like counting factors, with local, it'll be helpful.
Huh.
But it's really, really good for local.
But my
But
work
when it
it
comes to
out.
other stuff,
That's
e-commerce and
why-
national, it's not going to work. If you do like blogging, like the guys from e-com school and things, or income school, when they teach how to build like niche sites, like using things like pop are not going to be helpful.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I Jordan's my friend. I know. I disagree that you still need that foundation, and I think it can work regardless on the query. You still need that initial foundation.
You can do it as a foundation, but you need to know how to semantically answer certain queries and know how to use the kind of basis of what pop shows you to be able to use it to your advantage. But if you just like, most of the times that people are like, well, pop's not working, is because they don't really understand what it's actually asking for.
Have you guys used the free tool Topical Relevance?
Yes, that's sick. Yeah, I have it in my
I'll
SOPs
drop
already.
I'll drop it in the chat.
I use it like on the
Who
schema
owns that one?
especially.
It's
And I think I can't remember if Jahir, if I had shared it with you, but that's my secret to Entity NLP SEO, which is that free tool. It gives me enough information. I use my human brain, and then I just make a page and I'm done. I'm done. Simple
I
as
use
that.
that. It's on my SOP. Obviously, I always appreciate you. You should lots of stuff with me. You share lots of stuff with me. You also like send me lots of like video recorded with the training. That helped me a lot.
Yeah. Is that what I shared with you? The way I used it? Was that what it was?
No, it was somewhere else I found it, but it's super awesome tool.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
really is.
But you showed me some of the tricks, especially the on-page stuff, and also like the CRO tips.
Yeah. And I would say one of the hardest things, because I'm sure we have lots of listeners and viewers out there that are foreign, right? Understanding the English language, it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard for me. And it's hard when I've had 2 beers, right? At 9% alcohol content. When you really understand how to I want to say dissect, but to break down sentences in the English structure, it then allows you a much easier time to re-edit and rewrite things and use a tool like topical relevance.
I would say that's indeed very true. And topical relevance, I'm actually surprised that you came up with it because I think 2 weeks ago I put it in my SOPs to do it at a large scale because again, like I run certain agencies and I don't always put all the same strategies. Like I need verification that works in the industry because I don't treat every niche as the same one.
Yeah.
But yeah, recently, sorry, my cat.
So Rich, I personally have 2 minutes to spend here. What would you like to ask Lambo? Ask me anything. This is an AMA just for you personally.
Well, Rich, do it. No pressure.
Or anybody else.
Yeah.
Ask.
All right. What, Keith, I want to see a live performance of that video. That shit had me laughing.
A live performance.
Yes, live
What the hell?
performance at the
Oh my
Mastermind.
gosh.
You're gonna blow that place up.
No, I need music. I need something.
hotel is?
What the heck is the deal?
What kind of mastermind is the?
Yeah, what kind of mastermind is it? Okay, so what hat would you like? Would you like Buddy the Elf hat? Would you like this hat? I got
Or wig.
I got oh yeah, I also have this was
White
a good
wig, I
one.
think.
I got
You should get a lighter and see what those
Joe
sprinklers are like.
Exotic.
America.
Yeah, there
Look.
You should get a lighter
my
and see how
God.
those ceiling sprinklers work.
Oh yeah.
Rich, if you don't know, Kid have some like good music video in his channel. Don't miss those.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Okay,
Some,
so
moves.
I'm thinking this is like almost like a Kid Rock kind of a move right here. I'm thinking, huh?
Give it to us.
I'm
Hey,
not
Kid,
even
I
sure.
have a question though.
Yeah, go.
How do you
Well-
use topical relevance with your process of the on page or like entity?
I'll send you my training video that I give to my team. Happy to do that. What I really look is that I specifically go down to the entity section and I make sure that those entities, I somehow put them in to the H2s on the page. So that's the key mix right there. And you might sit there and say, oh, really? That's it, right? Yeah, I'm not saying you talk like, yeah, really, that's all you do, right? But honestly, that is all I do. Is if you just look at that as a unique entity that's related to my subject, how could I write a headline or a question, and then, I only need
Sorry.
I only need it.
Bless you.
I only need 3 sentences after that. That's just enough to trigger to Google that says, here's your main topic, here's your title, here's your info. Boom, we got it, right? I'm trying to think if I have it's really the combination of what is your what's your topic, right? And then breaking it down based on what are the related entities and how could you just drop in the entity as a headline and then follow that up with some words, and then you just do that a few times down the page, and that's it. That's really the main thing I do.
Thanks, man.
So
It's probably not enough. If the video, you'll be like, oh, I got it now. So
I'll be waiting for that one.
I'm looking at Spotify here to see if I can find something. Boom, 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 boom. Now, Brent knows what happened the last time I did this on Spotify. Tell our listeners, why don't you?
yeah, Keith is indeed well, he knows how to bust a move. In fact, he made me think a lot.
I need to be on some magic mic, I think is what I need to do.
Come on, give it to us. Don't stall us. Give it.
The problem is this is the problem, kids, is that I don't have Spotify. I'm using my daughter's Spotify. So as soon as I pick the wrong song that's not in her genre, right? Kid Rock, and she's gonna be like, boom, she's gonna shut us down.
What's her genre then?
Oh, indie alternative, you
Oh,
know, some emo cool shit like that. What should we do? Kid Rock, what would be a good one for Kid Rock? Cowboy. We should do the cowboy. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if I got all the buttons pressed here. Sorry. I really shouldn't do this intoxicated. It's not a good thing for me at all.
That's the best time. That's the only time, Keith.
Can you imagine us like you have to, chill with us for a weekend in Austin? Yes, it is a very good time for sure. So
Yeah, sounds good.
all right, let me press the right button here.
this is what you called me on a Friday night. Is the watch Keith dance.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we all came here together. Fuck SEO. Like, this is what turns me on. Let's go.
Yeah, and
Well, I'm packing up my gear and I'ma head out west where real women come equipped with scripts and fake press. Find a nest in the hills, chill like Flint. Buy an old drop top, find a spot to pin. Then I'm a kid, get up and down your block with the bottle of scotch and watch lots of trash. Buy a yacht with a flag saying chillin' the most. Then rock that bitch up and down the coast.
Oh, I told you we were gonna get shut down.
Everybody here is laughing. Jordan is like, yeah, I see this shit. Like, he does this all the time. Jesus.
You guys are gonna
Yes,
get me.
man.
Man, I'm gonna get kicked off of my daughter's Spotify now, man.
I don't know, man. I think you're in the wrong business, Keith.
Yeah, exactly.
You got. I don't know, man.
Jesus.
It's
All right, gang. We'll see you maybe next Friday. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah,
All right, sounds
probably
good.
not.
Thank you for jumping on, man. It means a lot.
Yeah, take care, man. That was great.
You guys have a good weekend. Nice talking to you, Jahir and Rich. You guys have a great weekend. I got to roll.
See ya.
Okay, man.
See ya,
Take
man.
care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone. Have a nice day.